Hey, I'm Megan.
And I'm Morgan.
And we're here to talk about tidal energy.
So what is tidal energy?
Tidal energy is a form of hydropower that converts energy from the tides into electricity.
Tidal energy can be harnessed in two forms, tidal range and tidal stream. Tidal range is a vertical difference between high and low tide. The rise and the fall of the high and low tide generates power from converting its kinetic energy into electricity.
Tidal range is most effective during new moons because the gravitational pull of the sun and the moon are in the same direction.
Tidal stream generators are similar to wind turbines but are below the water's surface. The movement of the water currents from the change in tides, kinetic energy, rotates a wind turbine connected to a generator.
With tidal energy, there are many advantages, but with that, disadvantages are always present. The biggest advantage to tidal power is that it does not pollute and is a renewable energy source.
Not only that, tidal energy is always predictable because it is powered by the tides and we know the timing for the high tide and low tide.
Why do people use tidal energy, you ask? The main reason people use tidal energy is because it's a renewable and green energy resource.
Tidal energy can produce an abundance of power, and with further advancing technology, it can even be used to store energy.
Tidal energy has a larger energy density than wind power and is effective at low speeds because of this. Tidal power energy density per cubic meter is much greater than that of wind or solar. This is because seawater is 832 times denser than air.
Most of the disadvantages connected to tidal energy are environmental concerns such as animals being killed when they try to swim through turbines,
or the possible effects on animal migration.
It can even change the silt deposition affecting plant life. It can also prevent access to rivers and cut off shipping.
So all this talk of tidal energy, when was it created? Tidal energy is really nothing new. The oldest known reference to tidal energy is 787 Common Era, and in Suffolk, England, there is a still standing tide mill that dates back to 1170.
The only difference from today's tidal energy to back then is that they did not produce electricity. They merely used it to turn water wheels and grind grain. The first person to actually have this idea to use tidal power to create electricity is Dexter Cooper.
In 1920, the young engineer introduced his idea to the state of Maine, but early funding was hard to come by, and the Great Depression of 1929 ended his work. But then, Franklin D. Roosevelt, an early supporter of Cooper, was elected into office.
The federal government then undertook the study of tidal power, but knowing the project would be too expensive, they passed it on to the state of Maine.
But Maine would not carry out the experiment without funding of Congress, and with no funding, the project was never completed.
When tidal energy was first used to generate electricity, it was in 1969, November 26th, after the completion of the tidal power plant located in Lorence, France, on the estuary of the Rance River.
The more suitable locations for tidal power plants are in China, France, England, Canada, and Russia.
The United States only has a few power plants. Now that you know more about tidal energy and how it works.
Tidal power is a great energy resource, but there are not many locations for tidal power plants. Personally, we think for tidal energy to be more efficient, it needs to be more accessible. Why do people use tidal energy, you ask? The main reason people use tidal energy is because it is...
So what is tidal energy?
Tidal energy is a form of hydropower that converts Oh god. Okay, go. We didn't practice.
No, we didn't. I just now...
Why do people use tidal... Tendonitis. That's what it sounded like. Tidal energy has a larger energy density than wind. I keep messing up and you don't, so it's really awkward.
Estuary kind of reminds me of a bird, and I do not know why. Ostrich, that's why.
What?
Because, I don't know, like, estuary sounds like ostrich. I don't know.
No, it doesn't.
It's just...
It does not sound like
ostrich.
ostrich.
It doesn't... It doesn't sound the same, but it's just like, I don't know, saying estuary reminds me of a bird. Like, I feel like that would be
ostrich. Estuary. No.
Yes. I feel like that would be some type of bird.